everyone! My name is Evie Lupine. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today we are doing a reaction video because I saw that recently Vice put out a new episode in their Guide to Sex series, and Vice has a troubling track record when it comes to how they approach BDSM related topics. Some of them are fairly good, and some of them, like the one I reacted to last time, like that one, if you guys don't remember it, it was supposed to be about financial domination, but it was really about public humiliation play. And yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about what to expect with this one, especially because this one is about ABDLs, or adult baby diaper lovers. And for those of you who don't know me or my channel, I am not an ABDL. I am part of the broader BDSM and kink spheres, and I just feel really bad for ABDLs. I talk about subjects related to that occasionally on my channel, and I find that they just do not ever get any really great representation or discussion. It's so oftentimes it's just like this cringe fest of like, oh my god, look at the weird people, and I hate that. And I'm really hoping that either I can react to this, and if it's bad, we can correct some misunderstandings or some misconceptions, and if it's good, we can go, yes, oh my gosh, finally, good ABDL representation. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into actually watching the video, and I'll go ahead and give my thoughts as we watch along.
Can you imagine being in a headspace that you are so relaxed that every single care that you think about as an adult melts away?
First of all, I do really like how they're starting to describe ABDL. I think they're really painting a picture of why someone would be into this, because I think if you're watching this, as is probably the case with most of Vice's audience, if you're watching this and you don't really know anything about ABDL, your first question is going to be, after what the heck is this, is going to be, why the hell would anyone do this? And I like especially that it looks like we're talking from the perspective of a caregiver, not just the little. And that's really unique, or the ABDL for that matter. It's really unique because most things like this, they just focus on interviewing the baby or the little side of the equation, not on the actual caregiver. And that's like half the dynamic. So I love that we're starting there. Possibly a good sign, but we'll see where this goes.
How's that?
ABDL stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lover.
That's a full diaper. You waited too long. What's wrong with you? Numb.
They actually have an identity that is a younger age than their chronological age.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a problem using the phrase identity here, or like they have an identity where they're a different age other than their chronological age, because if you guys remember, a long time ago I did a reaction / response to one of Blair White's videos where the problem was all centered around the word identity, because a lot of people look at that and go, oh my gosh, somebody says they're identifying as a dog. They're a trans dog. They're a trans speciesist. They're so nuts. They think that they're an actual dog trapped in a human's body. Well, oh my gosh, what's happening here? Society is crumbling. Like, people just can't process other meanings of the word identity unless it's in the conventional way where people think about, you know, sexual orientation or gender identity. Like, that's how people think about it. And I think maybe it would be more accurate to say it's like a role play identity or a persona that someone builds where they are, as an adult that knows they're an adult, is consciously choosing to take on a role for a period of time where they are pretending to be a different age. And I worry again because I know the audience for this is going to be people that don't know anything about this. They're going to hear that and think, oh my gosh, there are people who are chronologically 56 that believe they're a baby trapped in an adult's body, and they're like trans ageist or something. And like, I am sure there are some people who use the label ABDL that have something closer to that, but like 99% of people that do ABDL, well, while the act of being an adult baby can be an identity in the sense of like it's a community, it's something you're a part of, it's an important aspect of who you are. Like, it's not that you believe you're a baby trapped in a different body than what you should be in. And so I want to make that really clear. Though some people might be like that, it's not the majority, and I think that we should probably stick with more language like, you know, role play identity or persona or role or something like that, you know?
A little girl should not have a potty mouth.
A little girl should not have a potty mouth.
It isn't necessarily overtly sexual, but it's a bonding experience.
If you see an adult in a diaper, why do you think they're a pedophile?
People want what they had as a kid. It's very nostalgic.
There has been this whole economy that has sprung up to serve the community.
In addition to manufacturing adult diapers, I also wear them all the time.
Okay, so I'm interested because it looks like we're going in a bunch of different directions here. We're gonna get both the ABDL side as like the people doing it as a role, and then also kind of more of the background, maybe from a professional, and then also people that work in the industry of making stuff for ABDL. So really interesting, especially because Vice actually did a video, I think last year, where they talked to people that make adult baby furniture. So they're kind of like, you know, making this whole ABDL universe on the Vice channel, and I'm kind of into it.
Good morning, little one. Are you ready to wake up? No. I am Mommy Cat, or sometimes Goddess Cat, and I am a professional pro mommy here in Denver, Colorado. I provide babysitting, mommy dates, overnight sessions, and a lot more really. I love the fireside when all the lights are low. It's a campfire. My sessions range from $200 to $2,000, and that is 1 hour to a weekend. The people who come to me for sessions are definitely looking for that over-the-top mommy experience where all of their choices are taken away. They're 100% submitted and not in charge and just there for whatever happens to them. Show me 4 cookies and 4 crackers. You're so cute, you know that?
So right away, I love Mommy Cat. Like, Mommy Cat seems very genuine and very authentic, and I love actually what they're doing to kind of introduce the audience to what ABDL looks like. Like, you're seeing kind of the everyday procedures of, if you're a lifestyle ABDL person, what do you actually do? You're seeing the crib and the toys and the activities and the, you know, being in a high chair. And even though it's like a role play thing and you know that they're really adults, like, it seems very sweet and very genuine, and it really does feel, to me looking at this, it feels like, you know, a caregiver taking care of a charge, and it seems really, really sweet. And I love the fact that there are professional mommies. I think we probably need more of that, really, because I think it does a good job not only of talking about ABDL, but also that somebody who is a professional dominant can come in lots of different shapes and sizes. You know, it's a stereotype that people get into where they think, oh my gosh, everyone who's a dominatrix is cold and mean and harsh, and like, I would never want to be anywhere near them, and that's not going to be something that works for me. And then you have like Mommy Cat, right, who's also Goddess Cat, at least sometimes, but you get to see that diversity of what it means to be a professional dominant or to be a female dominant in general, and I really, really like that.
I had lost my father when I was younger, and I was very close with him. And then once he had passed, I felt like my life had changed. Part of me was just like not there. So being able to be in a little space, like, I can go back and think, like, you know, oh, I used to do this when I was a kid. Like, I'll put like a diaper on, like my pajamas on, and then like find an old movie I watched as a kid, just because it was fun, just because it's like one of those times where it's like, I don't have to be an adult right now.
So I want to be cautious with this, but I do have some thoughts about this. So on the one hand, it is completely valid to be into BDSM because you want to use it as a way to do things you didn't get to do as a child, or kind of recreate experiences that you had, or process trauma, anything like that. Totally valid reasons for participating in BDSM. But at the same time, I'm really cautious about, within less than 3 minutes into this documentary, we're already making that connection between I'm doing BDSM and the reason why is because of a traumatic experience that I'm trying to deal with in some way. And though that is a reality for a lot of people that do BDSM, again, from an outside audience's perspective, that is going to come across, I think, more like, see, look, this is exactly it. People who do BDSM do it because they're traumatized, and normal people would never do anything like this, even though they're all really into calling each other daddy in the bedroom and choking each other until they black out without talking about it first or using a safe word. But BDSM people are the problem, right? That conversation aside, I just think it's important to not always make it seem like BDSM is coming from this place of trauma. And I think so far it's kind of interesting because elsewhere, so far they've gone into a lot of the reasons why people look for this or are into it, but now they're kind of making this link to a trauma association, and people who have trauma can be into BDSM, but having trauma isn't the main or only reason why most people get into BDSM. And we don't really have a lot of good research about this, but there is some data to suggest that people that are kinky are just as well adjusted as people that are non-kinky. They don't have mental illness at a higher rate, and actually they may have a higher reported well-being in general compared to people that are non-kinky. So there's kind of this ongoing mistake that people make that trauma equals BDSM, but that's not it by any means. But what I am hoping to see in this video is maybe we are going to get someone who's like, yeah, I'm just into it and it's fun and that's kind of all it is, and it's just like moving on. But that might be asking for too much.
1, 2, 3. Nice job. I am ABDL. I was a little before I was any of the other things.
I think I need a change.
This is okay, and this is a tool that people use to not just work through traumas, but also to relax. And for some people, it's not about that at all. It's really just about being able to feel little and taken care of by someone. It's very therapeutic. You're so cute. Some want to just come and be babysat, just have a story read and have their diaper checked or changed. And then some people want to go much further into a sexual aspect of things.
All right, so we're getting some unexpected switch representation. I did not see that coming, and I don't think that's what Vice realizes they're doing, but I love it regardless. I love that we are getting to talk about ABDL with someone who knows what it's like from both angles, from both perspectives. That's really, really helpful for people. I do have to say though, as a negative, Vice, come on. Work with me here, please. Did we not learn from the public humiliation fiasco from the last one of these that I watched? We don't have to have every single one of these be like, all right, go be kinky in public. I swear to God, doesn't matter if it's pet play, ABDL, humiliation, whatever. If it's kinky, they want to try it in public to get some, like, I don't know, like cute B-roll, some whatever. And I will say this one does seem to be a lot better than the last one we watched, because it seems like the park is actually empty, more or less. There's like one person at the very beginning that seems to leave before they actually really get into filming, which is nice. And I think compared to something like walking two men mostly naked on hands and knees around New York City, when you are clearly wearing BDSM paraphernalia, like, this is much more passable and like visually unalarming to the vanilla public. So okay, it's a little bit better, but come on, does it always have to be in public? I think we deserve more than that.
This is a good place to just make a little stand and reflect on what they were doing wrong. But if they need a serious punishment, we could take them to the spanking bench. You can tie someone down to it. It's perfect for squirmy littles who want to try and get away. And it's probably my favorite way of punishing. I think most people mix their ABDL with some other kink, whether it be bondage, medical play, vintage punishment. ABDL goes so well with so many different kinks.
Okay, wait, no one told me I could go to the universe to get a doctorate of fetish. Okay, finally, I have a way to legitimize my BDSM education channel. I'm gonna just be right back, guys, because I need to go get right on this.
That this all lends itself really well to what I do.
Anything else in there that you want to show us? Toys?
I mean, the castration stuff doesn't really go along with ABDL as much.
My name's Dr. Rhoda Lipscomb. A lot of people call me Dr. Rhoda, or a few people these days affectionately call me the Diaper Doctor. It can be very challenging sometimes to explain really what ABDL is. You have the people who identify as what the community often calls adult babies or littles. Those are the people who feel that they actually have an identity that is a younger age than their chronological age.
I am over the moon excited that they brought on an actual mental health professional, and not just any mental health professional, but an expert on ABDL to be in this little documentary thing, because that is exactly what this conversation needs. And from what I can tell, she is a completely legit doctor. She has actually some really good books, it looks like, that she's published on Amazon that could be helpful for people that are struggling with their ABDL identity and things like that, and that's really positive to see. She's also even served as an expert witness in cases like maybe custody or divorce court stuff where ABDL has come up and there's like some misunderstandings about it, or somebody's trying to like weaponize somebody's interest in ABDL in a court proceeding, which cannot even imagine, but that is sadly a thing that happens, and I'm just really, really glad that she's on, so maybe she'll have more to say later on.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have what are called the DLs, or the diaper lovers. The diaper lover does not have that younger identity. You know, DLs, primarily, it's usually much more sexualized for them, and it's more about the diaper being the fetish item. Though there are diaper lovers for whom it's not sexual at all. It's simply about that comfort, security. It just feels natural for them.
So how wet is that diaper? Diaper changes are definitely something that people are looking for. So they're kind of expecting it and looking forward to it. You should probably pop up on the changing table. It isn't necessarily overtly sexual, but it's a bonding experience. You're showing parts of you that are private, and there is a lot of sensory things going on during a diaper change. So it's an incredibly magical thing done between a caregiver and a little, and it's very bonding.
I just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm really happy that throughout this whole documentary, we are taking the time to really tease out all of the reasons why someone might be into ABDL, that it can be sexual, that it can be non-sexual, that it can be really sensory, that it can be really freeing and stress relieving, it can be a way of processing trauma. Like we're really covering a lot of bases here when it comes to the motivations behind ABDL.
Oh my goodness. That's a full diaper. You waited too long. What's wrong with you? All right, let's take these cute little jammies off of you. Up. Good job.
For some people, it can be that dominant submissive of, oh, I'm submitting that someone is checking on me and doing these things, and I don't have the control. But I think for some people, it probably replicates that age for them in that time frame.
So we're almost at AV Dealer, Caitlin's favorite spot in the whole world. The diaper store is an incredible opportunity to feel normal. At Target or Walmart, these things are not usually meant for us. When you're at a diaper store, everybody knows they're for you, and everyone thinks you're cute in them, and everyone wants to encourage you to try on the outfits and just be that truest little self. Will you try this on for mommy? Yeah. Okay. That's so cute. I love it. I've heard several people complain about how the modern ABDLs have it so easy because we have these resources, not just brick and mortar stores, but the online presence of ABDL has exploded. So it's easier. It's easier to be yourself. You got light purple or white. Babies can't make decisions, huh?
I think there has been this whole economy that has sprung up to serve the community. And when people ask me, they'll say things like, oh, there can't be that many people. And I'm like, do you really think that there are multiple major diaper companies who service this community because there's only a handful of people? Like, there are enough people around the world, even though many of them are hidden, that can support that large economy.
So cute.
I do think it's really great there are brick and mortar stores out there to serve littles in the same way that we have sex toy stores or even more like mainstream in-person fetish stores. I think that's really, really awesome because I think people do need a place that they can go to and maybe be open and explore for the first time. I know for a lot of people, and it might seem strange, but a lot of people do have like their first experience ever being kinky anywhere going to like a BDSM store. Like it is a common thing that happens, and I imagine the same thing happens with ABDL where, you know, a store opens up maybe the next town over, and maybe after months and months of like, oh, should I go, should I not go, you finally get up the courage to go and try on a diaper for the first time or try on a onesie, and that can be such a big relief for people that are experiencing all this dread and anxiety and fear of getting to do it and wondering what'll happen, and being in that kind of supportive place can make a really big difference. But the sad thing is from what I've heard, these stores are oftentimes really not welcome in places where they spring up, and if the public, the vanilla public at least, catches wind of them, they get really hostile. Like, it's not uncommon for people to get slammed with fines and protested and just get forced out from wherever they try to set up shop just because people have all of this stigma and fear against something they really don't understand. And I hope documentaries like this, if they are doing their job, will help more people that are open-minded understand this. That way they don't have to be so afraid of a diaper store, you know? It just, when you think about it in the abstract, you're like, oh, it's a store for diapers and pacifiers, but it's evil and bad and needs to be burned to the ground. Okay then. And what the doctor said is true. There are lots of people who are into ABDL, way more than you might think. Like, I've seen estimates, and we don't really have a lot of great research about this, so take this with a huge grain of salt. I've seen numbers from like 0.5%, 1%, maybe even as great as 10% are into something related to ABDL or CGL. And that means it's not really as niche as people think it is, and so naturally there's going to be stores that spring up to serve that community, and I think that they deserve a little bit more respect, to be honest.
My name is Casey Strom. Welcome to Big Diaper.
I am Casey Strom, CEO of AB Universe, and I think that we are one of the biggest ABDL lifestyle brands in the world. Much to some people's idea of what we are, we do actually have bathrooms here in the warehouse. The Cushy's diaper here is very, very similar to, you know, an actual print that you would have seen back in the 90s, early 2000s. This is our space diaper. When we were designing this, the concept was based around my bedroom when I was 4 years old. People want what they had as a kid. It's very nostalgic. We try to play on the nostalgia. It's very important to us. In addition to manufacturing, designing, producing adult diapers and the accessories therein, I also wear them all the time. Since I started operating the company, the role play side of it kind of faded off for me, and it really kind of levitated more to the DL side. I can remember back to when it was so exhilarating, you know, putting a diaper on, and now it's just quite literally it is my underwear. I wear diapers 24/7. Wearing diapers has helped reduce my anxiety a bit. It acts kind of like a safety blanket in a certain way. Wearing a diaper all the time, or using a pacifier or whatever, is calming and does help me deal with the big scary world.
What do you do in the diaper?
I think some things are better left to the imagination.
That was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted someone to be able to say, yes, sometimes it really is that simple. I just like diapers. That's it. It can be about working through trauma or reclaiming your childhood or experiencing things you never really got to do that you wanted to do when you were younger. Like, it can be about all those things. But sometimes diapers are nice, I guess, and that's really all it has to be.
How's it going? Good. So there's 1,000 more orders in the queue?
1,001.
1,001?
1,001.
1,001.
Fantastic.
It feels great to be able to work somewhere where I feel accepted and I don't have to hide who I am. Everyone that works here is like-minded and super sweet. It's really nice to be able to be like, I like what I'm doing. I like being able to help a community that I'm part of.
My employees are, the majority of them, I think, would identify as age players, which I think that's pretty cool. This typically is somebody's biggest secret, and we don't have to hide that from each other. We can talk about it openly, honestly, what we like, what we don't like. I believe it helps us better serve our customers.
Manchester has 2 containers that are on their way. One's supposed to be arriving on the 13th. That container is currently getting delivered on time.
Mike T, you're taking notes, right?
Yeah, I'm ready to sit down.
Great, thanks. I'm gonna try and take some time off at the end of this week just to recover. I've been on a sprint, but I appreciate everybody, and thank you for your time this morning. Have a good morning. I think the biggest misconception about the ABDL community is that the A stands for something other than adult.
The topic of pedophilia is often brought up with ABDL.
The thing about ABDL that a lot of people don't understand is people are into the strong, confident male or female type that then regresses down into a baby, and all of the power is taken away from them. So you have to understand like where the headspace is to begin with to even really understand what ABDL is.
An adult in a diaper is not looking for a child. They're looking for another adult. Even the recent studies that have been done show that pedophilia and ABDL are not connected.
I've had issues with stalkers. I've been called every name in the book. It's very simple. I like diapers.
And I'm really glad that they also have this doctor on to address the really horrible stereotypes that are around ABDL, namely with pedophilia, because it seems like no matter how much actual data or research you show people, and you can explain it that way, this way, you can explain it, 10 ways from Sunday, and people just do not want to believe that ABDL and pedophilia are not connected. And I hope that hearing it from a professional that works with this population will maybe be a little bit more convincing for some people, because what she says is true. Like, there is not a link, at least that we know of. There's not really a lot of research out there between ABDL and pedophilia. They are not the same thing. It's not like a slippery slope where one leads to the other. Some people just like being able to relax in a diaper or use a sippy cup, and that's really all it is.
Caitlin, you can spend 15 minutes holding that quarter to the wall, remembering why we don't swear. I think there are still going to be people who don't understand ABDL, because the idea of an adult putting on a diaper and doing these things is sometimes hard to understand without those prerequisites. But people just need to understand that it's not weird, and it doesn't come from a place that is threatening. It's actually quite the opposite. Repeat after me. A little girl should not have a potty mouth.
A little girl should not have a potty mouth.
That's right.
The media has portrayed this as being something super sensationalized and all that, whereas in fact, you know, this is one layer to someone's life. You know, it may be a big layer, it may be very important to them, it may not be.
Is it 15 minutes yet?
No. Time goes a lot slower when you're misbehaving, doesn't it?
It still amazes me that a lot of the BDSM and kink groups who are into some pretty interesting things, and they'll draw the line at wearing diapers. And I look at them like, really? Because I know some of the other stuff that you all enjoy. So that's so weird. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that goes sometimes.
You think you've learned a lesson about swearing?
Yeah.
You're not going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. How about we take that nap?
I've been in this diaper all day. I'm gonna piddle one last time.
And that's it. That's the video. So overall, I think I am definitely impressed. I think compared to the last one of these that we watched, this one is a huge, huge improvement. I love that we got to see so many different perspectives within one mini documentary. I think that really, really helped. I loved getting to see the professional and the caregiver side, and just, you know, the diversity of different ABDL experiences and how many different facets of it that there are. And I kind of want to echo two of the last couple of sentiments that were shared in that, which is one, that yes, in the media, it is sensationalized to all heck. People love reacting to this stuff. People love going, oh my gosh, look at the freaks. People love just getting to find a group to make fun of, essentially, with free reign without getting any kind of pushback. And because of that, there can be this idea that everyone who's into ABDL does it 24/7 to the max all the time, when in reality, like he said, you know, it can be important, but it might not be. It's one aspect of who someone is, and that's true of basically any kink. And I think, you know, to add on to that, with that last sentiment from the doctor that, you know, kinky people are into some weird stuff, but they draw the line at diapers and get kind of judgmental. And I think we need to remember, as fellow kinky people, if you are one watching this, we shouldn't, you know, look down our noses at other kinks that we don't understand and go, oh, well, you know, my kink is normal and fine, but that's weird over there. We really shouldn't be pushing each other under the bus like that, because when you do ask a vanilla person, hey, which one is weirder? Someone acting like a pet dog and peeing in the grass and eating out of a bowl, or someone wearing a diaper and eating baby food? They're gonna go, oh, those are like equally weird. Like, what? Like, they're gonna be like, both seem pretty weird to me. Or even like more mainstream kinky stuff. Like, a lot of people are very off-put by master-slave relationships or intense impact play or, you know, CBT. Like, a lot of people that are vanilla just look at all of that and go, it's all fucking weird, you know? Like, there's not really that much of a distinction they make between other kinks and other kinks. So I really think that we should be supporting each other and helping each other and raising awareness and just really focusing on being a community together and not putting each other down. And I hope that this video will help do that. I hope you guys can see, you know, as someone that is not an ABDL, I am very supportive of them. I think that they deserve more documentaries that are like this and not like TLC shows. So those are all of my thoughts and my feelings about this. I would love to know what you all think about this, especially as someone that maybe is into CGL or ABDL. I would love to know what you guys think. Any comments, questions? Do you disagree with me? All that stuff I would love to know in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this, I do make videos twice a week about all sorts of kink and BDSM related topics, including educational stuff about ABDLs and CGL and other related areas of BDSM. And finally, if you really enjoyed this, if you want to support what I do, the best way you can do that is with Patreon. A link to that will be down below. That is what makes this channel possible, and also Especially with this episode, I do actually do streams on Thursdays just for Patreon, and that is where we watch and react to videos like this one every single week. So if you really like stuff like that, there's more on Patreon. Thank you all so much if you do support me over there. It means the absolute world to me. And until I see you next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.